Well, good morning there to you, ladies and gentlemen. This is Manning coming to you live from Scott Manning YouTube Sports Talk. I want to thank all of my loyal viewers for tuning in here today. I got to take some time to talk about it. Last night in the Duke, North Carolina game, Zion Williamson suffered a freak mild knee sprain 36 seconds into the ball game. Williamson was trying to hit a layup, then his Nike 2.5 shoe exploded. Now, I'm not talking about a fireball explosion or anything like that. His shoe exploded because it ripped literally in half. And as a result of it, Duke's number one player had to leave the game with a mild knee sprain. Coach Mike Krzyzewski's already said it's a mild knee sprain. His knee is stable. We'll have more for you on Thursday. But I'll tell you right now, North Carolina took advantage of that injury in a big, big way. Now, North Carolina beat Duke 88-72 in the contest itself. Let's see what happened. I know what happened. North Carolina took advantage of no Zion Williamson. Case in point, from the field, North Carolina shot 38-75 for the game. That's 50.7%. Now, despite the fact they only went 220 from beyond the arc, they still won. Now, North Carolina went 10 of 14 at the free throw line for 71.4%. Duke, on the other hand, Zion Williamson's absence was a killer. They shot 25 of 72 from the field. That's only 34.7%. Duke only shot 8 of 39 from beyond the arc. That's only 26.5%. At the free throw line, Duke was 14 of 19. They did better than North Carolina at the free throw line for 73.7%. Few things to keep in mind. North Carolina, they out-rebounded Duke 46-41. North Carolina out-assisted Duke 20-9. Duke had 20 turnovers in the ball game. That's why they got beat. Zion Williamson's absence was a real killer, and it showed. Luke May, listen to this. Listen to these numbers. I got 3 players from North Carolina that really stuck out to me. Luke May, 30 points, 15 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. Cameron Johnson, 26 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. Garrison Brooks, 14 points, 8 rebounds, 2 steals in the game. Now, with Zion Williamson out, the only other highlight players for Duke were R.J. Barrett, 33 points, 13 rebounds, a double-double for him. It didn't matter. He had 4 assists. Cam Reddish, 27 points, 3 rebounds, 1 block, 1 steal. That was it for him. Coach K knew he was in trouble when Zion Williamson went out with that mild knee sprain. And like I said, Coach K will probably have more on what happened if he's going to be ready to go this coming Saturday against Syracuse. And I'll get to that in a minute. North Carolina outscored Duke 62-28 in the paint. Ladies and gentlemen, if you get outscored like that, you're gonna lose. Coach Mike Krzyzewski said after the game, we just didn't have anything. When Zion went out, we knew we were in trouble. We should have more for you today. Now, this is last night. Keep in mind, Coach K talked about the Zion Williamson injury. He said his knee is stable. He should be good to go. We'll have more for you later today, and that's pretty much basically all I can tell you at the moment. And at last night's Duke North Carolina game, there were celebrities galore. Barack Obama was there. Former President Barack Obama was there. Spike Lee, the owner of the Knicks, he was there. Major League Baseball Hall of Famer Ken Griffey Jr. was there. They all come to the game to see Zion play. And for him to get hurt like that 36 seconds into the ball game, that's pretty sad. Now, Zion Williamson was wearing a Nike 2.5 shoe. Nike released a statement after the game saying, pretty much Nike said, our prayers go out to Zion Williamson. We take full pride in our products. It was just a freak accident. I'm not quite sure exactly what Nike said, but I'm kind of paraphrasing it to try to get it close enough to where you guys can understand where I'm going. What can you say? Unbelievable. So what's next for Duke? Duke faces Syracuse on Saturday night. And ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, Syracuse upset Duke at Cameron Indoor about a month ago. I have not forgotten it. And I'm sure Duke hasn't either. The rematch between Syracuse and Duke will be at the Carrier Dome. And if Zion Williamson is a no-go, Duke is screwed royally. Because you got to remember, Syracuse has O'Shea Brissett. He can shoot the basketball. Jim Boeheim has a team that can now is almost a lock for the NCAA tournament. Now this is going to be a Syracuse team that's going to be coming off of a big win over Louisville. And I'm going to be talking about the Duke-Syracuse rematch for tomorrow night Friday night at 11 o'clock on my YouTube college basketball show. But what's next for North Carolina? North Carolina faces Florida State Saturday afternoon. That is huge too. And I'm going to talk about that on Friday night. But let me tell you something. The question has been asked, and this question was asked this morning. Should Zion Williamson sit for the rest of the season? You know, if it were me, that would be a hard decision. Because right now, Duke needs him. I shouldn't sound like this, but let's think about it. Duke's in the middle of a rough stretch. Yes, they beat NC State. Yes, they had to come from behind to beat Louisville. And yes, they beat Virginia. And they got beat by North Carolina. But Zion Williamson cannot afford to sit right now. And here's why. Duke faces Syracuse. And don't let Syracuse's record fool you. They can play. Jim Boeheim has got his guys ready. And I'm going to say this right now. O'Shea Brissett, he can shoot. I'll tell you right now. Syracuse could beat Duke again. And I haven't forgotten when Syracuse beat Duke at Cameron Indoor. This time, the rematch is at the Carrier Dome. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's unbelievable that somebody would ask the question, should Zion Williamson sit for the rest of the season? Some of these NBA guys, last year's big stars, some of the stars in the NBA, like LeBron James said, Zion needs to sit his butt. He needs to sit. As my prayers go out to him, it's just unbelievable that his shoe broke. Some of the other players are saying, Zion, sit your butt out for the rest of the season. I have to be honest with you. I think Zion cannot sit for the rest of the season. And here's why. Duke would be totally lost without Zion. And it showed last night against North Carolina. And I got to compliment North Carolina for taking advantage of it. They did everything well. Okay, they only went 2 of 20 from beyond the arc last night. But Luke May, 30 points, 15 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. Cameron Johnson, 26 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. Garrison Brooks had himself a game last night. 14 points, 8 rebounds, 2 steals. Duke, and as far as Duke goes, Duke scored 72 points. However, 60 of those points from Duke came from R.J. Barrett and Cam Reddish. Everybody else on the team only had 12 points. That was it. So Zion Williamson, he has to be ready to go against Syracuse because it will show. Because Syracuse, and I'm sure Jim Boeheim was having his guys after Syracuse beat Louisville. I'm sure by now Jim Boeheim has gotten his hands on the game film between Duke and North Carolina last night. There's no doubt in my mind. So should Zion Williamson sit out? I say no. He can't. Because Duke, they got Syracuse, they got Virginia Tech. The rematch, the Duke-North Carolina rematch is going to be on March 9th, but the game's going to be in Chapel Hill. So there's a lot to think about there too. So now, that's the hard part. The next part I want to talk about, and it's very simple. Excuse me. And did any of you guys yesterday see the ESPN story? ESPN.com had a story about ticket prices for the Duke-North Carolina game last night going like Super Bowl type prices too. That's the other thing that really got me. I mean, the cheapest ticket you could find for this Duke-North Carolina matchup, $2,500. Come on. Really? And Vivid Seats, they had somebody buy a ticket for over $10,000. Are you serious? Come on. The NCAA needs to put a cap on ticket prices. The ticket prices for the game was so ridiculous. I understand Zion Williamson was a great player. He's going to go number 1 in the draft now, possibly. But his injuries really put a damper on it. And just to give you an idea, the March 9th rematch ticket prices are already going for $991, almost $1,000. Are you kidding me? I love Duke, North Carolina basketball, but come on. The average fan cannot afford a ticket for that game. And as far as Zion Williamson goes, Zion's got to be ready to play. That's all there is to it. He's got to be ready against Syracuse. He's got Virginia Tech. Then we got the Duke, North Carolina rematch coming up. And you know the sad part about all that ticket money, all the money, all those ticket prices and all the ticket sales and all that money, guess how much those players are going to get? Not one zooch, goose egg, zilch, nada, nunya, zero. They're not going to see a penny. And Zion Williamson was lucky that it was a mild knee sprain. Had it been a broken bone, he would have been SOL, sorry out of luck. You know what? It is time for the NCAA to put a cap on ticket prices. So we don't have to sell all these, because the average fan can't afford $2,600 or even $1,000. I'm sorry. It is time for the NCAA to put a cap on ticket prices, bottom line. And as far as Zion Williamson goes, and I'll say it again, Zion Williams he's almost got to be ready to play against Syracuse. Because if he's not available for Syracuse is going to run Duke right out of the Carrier Dome. I haven't forgot about what happened last time. I have not forgotten what Syracuse did to Duke at Cameron Indoor in the last meeting. I have not forgotten about that at all. So, folks, it comes down to this. North Carolina won the first ball game. They won the first matchup. The rematch is set for March 9th in Chapel Hill. And there's a lot more at stake in the rematch. And let me tell you something. It was a freak accident. What happened to Zion Williamson? It was a freak accident. I wish him a speedy recovery. But a lot of people are saying he should sit for the rest of the season. I cannot support that. Because let me tell you, Syracuse coming up Saturday. They got Virginia Tech. Then they got the March 9th rematch against North Carolina. But you know what? I will give Roy Williams credit. When Zion Williamson went out, they took advantage. Definitely. They did what they had to do. And they showed me a lot. And I'm going to tell you right now, this was a great game. It was just a rotten shame Zion got hurt. All those people spending all that money to go see him play, to see this matchup, and to see the rivalry game. He gets hurt 36 seconds in. All that money that those people spent was just a total waste. And all that ticket money, the players ain't going to see a dime. And it's sad. And it's time that the NCAA put a cap on ticket prices, because the students can't afford that. The average fan can't afford it. The money that they were dishing out. It was ridiculous. But you know what? All in all, North Carolina won the first game. My hats go off to Roy Williams. And before I go, I'm going to hand out some hardwood awards. You know what? I got 3 awards I'm going to hand out. Luke May, 30 points, 15 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. Congratulations to you, sir. You just got yourself a Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Award. Cameron Johnson, 26 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. Congratulations to you, sir. I'm going to give you a Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Award. Garrison Brooks, 14 points, 8 rebounds, 2 steals. You're a first-time recipient of a Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Award. Well, the first matchup between Duke, North Carolina is in the books. The rematch is set for March 9th. But Duke has a rough road still ahead of them. They got to face Syracuse on Saturday. Then they got to face Virginia Tech the following Saturday. And then they got to face North Carolina again. Now, North Carolina's not going to have it easy this coming Saturday either. They got to face Florida State. How much of a fatigue factor are they going to have after a wild game like this? But, folks, it boils down to this. What happened to Zion Williamson and what happened with the shoe, he should be thankful that is a mild knee sprain instead of a broken bone. Because had he had suffered a broken knee, he would have been screwed. Because all that money that all those fans spent to come see him play, they got ripped off. And I will say it one more time. The NCAA needs to put a cap on ticket prices to keep this from happening again. Because the average fan cannot afford $1,000. They can't even afford $1,000 for the rematch. They can't afford $2,600. Heck, they can't even afford $10,000. And Zion Williamson needs to get him. Coach K, Mike Krzyzewski said he will have an update today. And Zion Williamson is a go for this Saturday coming. And to those guys to some of these NBA players that said he needs to sit for the rest of the season, I can't support that. Zion Williamson, Duke needs him, especially with Syracuse coming up in the rematch at the Carrier Dome, because a lot of Duke fans have not forgotten what Syracuse did to Duke at Cameron Indoor a month ago. And all I got to say is, Zion Williamson, I wish you a speedy recovery. And I pray for you, man. That's all I have to say. All right, folks, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. I want to thank you guys so much for taking the time with me here this morning. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. My name is Scott Manning. All you have to do is type my name down, scroll down, look for this pretty face, and you'll see all the sport, and click subscribe, and you'll see all the sports videos I have done so far. Thank you guys so much for being with me. My next show, I'm going to be doing the Sky Manning YouTube College Basketball Show Friday night at 11 o'clock p.m. Friday night at 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time here on YouTube. Please join me for the Sky Manning YouTube College Basketball Show. I will get you ready for a big Saturday in college basketball, and we're going to have loads of fun then. Thank you guys so much for being with me. Thank you so much for being with me, and God bless.